Fala aí pessoal, sejam todos bem-vindos ao meu canal Max Gameplay. E vamos iniciar aí mais uma live de Vampyr, certo? Capítulo 3 agora de Vampyr. E vamos aí iniciar, vamos jogar ele. Esse aqui é um jogo que eu pretendo salvar. Então vamos jogar aí Vampyr. Se você está chegando agora aí pra assistir comigo e jogar junto comigo, né? Assistir eu jogando, deixa o like aí, ative a sua inscrição, beleza? Tamo junto. E o André no primeiro, é isso mesmo, mano. Um salve pra você, André. Muito obrigado aí por ter chegado, já deixando aquele like lá pra fortalecer. Obrigadão aí, André. Valeu. Então vamos continuar aqui com o Vampyr. Esse jogão é de suspense, né, mano? Tem uma parada meio dark, meio terror também. Mas é mais suspense mesmo. Da hora esse jogo, velho. É, então esse jogo é massa, ô André. Eu queria muito ter salvo ele na época quando eu tava com o meu PC. Eu cheguei a ter ele no PC quando eu tinha o PC. Eu joguei pouco, mano. Aí eu falei, mano, eu tenho que salvar esse jogo. Eu tive a oportunidade de baixar ele porque eu sou assinante da Plus, né, mano? Ele deu de graça esse mês. E eu falei, mano, vou aproveitar agora e vou jogar. Então, quero salvar ele aí. Vamos lá. Chantagem na Winter Chapel. Vá até Winter Chapel. Acho que é isso. Então, ele não é terror. Ele é tipo uma ação suspense. Mas como ele é um pouco sombrio, meio dark, dá uma sensação de terror também, entendeu? Mas ele não é terror, não. Caramba, essa paulada que eu dei no cara aqui, mano, cê é louco.
Oi, you listening?
Bom, não vou passar por aqui agora. Esperar um pouco. Olhar no mapa aqui, eu tenho que ir nesse ponto aqui, galera. Tenho que ir nesse ponto aqui. Esconderijo. Winter Chapel. Vamos nesse ponto, tá ligado? Bom, vamos lá. Ô, valeu, cara. Valeu mesmo pela força. Você tem qual game, mano? Você joga em algum game, algum console? Você curte jogar Play? Eu sempre tô postando vídeo, mano, de jogo grátis, de gift card também. Inclusive, gift card já tem um tempo que eu não posto. Então, se você acompanhar o canal aí, pode ter certeza, mano. Sempre vou postar dicas aí, conteúdo de graça, tá ligado? Para as pessoas aí do canal. Então, PS4, mano, é meu foco. Eu sempre tô postando jogo grátis de PS4. Tem um jogo, tem um último vídeo que eu postei no canal foi de um jogo grátis, que é free to play. Ele é gratuito, você não precisa da assinatura. Blast, eu esqueci o nome do jogo, mano. Mas é um jogo de ação RPG MMO. Se você quiser baixar, ele tá disponível na loja PlayStation, mano. Ele foi lançado ontem, só que eu consegui fazer o vídeo só hoje. E tem mais um vídeo que eu vou fazer, mas já vou antecipar pra você. Se você quiser baixar e testar, ele é somente por esse final de semana. É o FC4, tá ligado? Mano, o Rocket League eu até gostei de jogar ele, mano. Eu baixei ele, achei da hora. Mas o Fortnite eu não sou muito fã não, tá ligado? Tipo, eu jogava o Realm Royale, não sei se você conhece. O Realm Royale é um jogo de Battle Royale. Só que a empresa que criou ele, que é a Hi-West, ela, mano, não deu mais suporte nenhum pro jogo. Aí eu desisti, eu não jogo mais. Mas outro jogo multiplayer que eu curto jogar muito, se você tiver ele aí e quiser baixar pra gente jogar, mano, baixa o Paladins, mano. Eu gosto muito de Paladins, mano. Eu acho da hora. Eu jogo direto, é o jogo de multiplayer que eu mais jogo, que eu mais gosto. Free to play, né, que ele é de graça. É o Paladins, mano. Gosto muito de jogar o Paladins, velho. Inclusive hoje eu joguei bastante ele já. Bom, já eliminei esse cara aqui. Vamos dar continuidade aqui nessa região. Tem que ir nesse ponto Y aqui. Ô, beleza, ô, André, baixa assim, mano. Baixei pra nós jogar. Acho que eu tenho que ir por aqui agora. Se esses caras não levar uma comigo, eu não vou levar uma com eles, não. Proteja a nossa liberdade. Aliste-se e já na Marinha Real. Quer mais informações? Vai no escritório. Oxi, o cara tá me batendo aqui, mano. Pô, legal, você é de Portugal, mano. Que da hora. Um inscrito de Portugal, da hora, mano. Os lugares que eu tenho vontade de conhecer é em Portugal, mano. Tem muito, assim, muitos não, tem alguns, assim, uns 2, 3 amigos que já foram pra aí. Inclusive tem um que mora aí, eu não lembro qual cidade, lugar. Ele fala super bem daí, mano. Todo mundo que já foi aí que eu conheço, algumas pessoas falaram muito bem de Portugal. Estamos perto já, hein? Fique em casa. Gripe frequentemente se agrava com quadro de pneumonia. A melhor prevenção da gripe espanhola é ficar em casa. Esse jogo lembra o cenário, mano. Não sei se você concorda, o André, mas o cenário do Vampyr lembra muito Bloodborne, mano. Eu acho que lembra muito. Então, mano, eu desativei por quê? Porque tem muita gente que se inscreve e fica desinscrevendo do canal só pra não crescer, entendeu? O canal. Aí eu deixei desabilitada a opção de número de inscritos por causa disso. Então, eu tô com quase 1000 inscritos. Eu tô com 855 se você se inscreveu agora, né? Tô, acho que com esse número. A última vez que eu vi tava com 854. Bom, eu tenho que passar ali. Fiquem perto e protejam-se.
Didn't you hear me? He's
Nossa, mano, esse tirão foi embaçado. Esse cara tá chato, mano. Escudo, velho. Agora sim, de boa. Tem uma dificuldade legal. Apesar que esses inimigos aqui provavelmente sejam um dos mais fáceis, né? Eu matei um lobisomem que também foi fácil. Matei no último vídeo, se você quiser assistir, eu mato um lobisomem. E foi da hora a treta com o lobisomem, só que foi muito de boa, sabe? Eu pensei que tivesse uma dificuldade maior. Apesar que também eu não coloquei em modo hard, né? Eu tô jogando no modo normal, então provavelmente a dificuldade do game vai ser mais tranquila. Você achou que eu jogo bem, mano? Eu acho que não, velho, mas valeu aí.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Aí chegamos no ponto específico, agora tem que encontrar. Encontre Darius Petrescu e converse com ele. Vamos procurar esse cara então. Ele deve estar por volta dessa parte aqui, né? Tem um lugar de save, eu vou ver onde está esse lugar aqui. Deixa eu dar uma vasculhada aqui próximo aqui pra ver. Dá pra subir aqui em cima também, hein? Interessante. Eita. Aconteceu alguma coisa ali, mano. Mas eu não vou agora ali não, porque eu quero salvar. Tem um lugar pra salvar o jogo. Provavelmente aqui perto. Acho que é aqui, ó. Nem sei onde eu entrei, mas vamos ver aqui certinho. Vê sim, mano. Pode ver lá, André. Os jogos... Eu posto direto, cara. Eu posto vídeo... Os próximos jogos da Plus, tipo... Todo mês que lança o jogo da Plus, eu coloco lá vídeo de rumor. E depois eu coloco oficialmente o jogo quando a Sony divulga, né? E aí eu coloco no canal sempre notícia de PS4, jogos grátis, né? Atualização também, eu faço vídeo de atualização. Então esses são os conteúdos do canal, né? E gift card, para ganhar gift card para você comprar jogo, gift card de graça, alguns aplicativos que dão gift card. De vez em quando eu também faço vídeo, eu posto vídeo desse tipo de conteúdo. Mas na real o foco mais é jogar, né? É se divertir, fazer live aí, gravar os jogos, deixar salvo uma playlist. Mas é isso, o canal é canal Max Gameplay é desse jeito. O que eu não curti muito, que eu percebi, é que o loading do Vampyr é muito lento. Demora muito pra carregar o jogo. Olha o tempão que demorou pra carregar o jogo. Então, eu ainda nunca ganhei, né, gift card, mas já vi amigos ganharem, entendeu? Então, tipo, por isso que eu passo esse conteúdo. Mas eu não ganho porque também eu não fico jogando. Às vezes tem aplicativo que você tem que ficar jogando pra ganhar ponto, fazendo pesquisa. Tem vários aplicativos, né? E eu, assim, eu nunca ganhei, mas já vi amigos ganharem, então por isso que eu faço. Porque são amigos que eu conheço, confio, então eles disseram que já ganharam e dá pra ganhar sim. Aí tem aplicativo que eu faço assim, mas eu não sei, né, se dá pra ganhar mesmo e tal. Puxa, ali em cima dá pra subir. Vamos ver aqui, tem. Aqui eu acho que é o lugar do save aqui, ó.
It's locked.
A porta tá trancada? Não é aqui? Onde que é então, mano? Vamos dar a volta aqui. Dei a volta no quarteirão, mas não achei um lugar pra salvar. Acho que eu já achei o lugar, hein? Vamos aqui.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Sentido. Investigue ações de Darius. Vamos ver aqui. Não, mano.
No one's there.
Ninguém aqui. Tem um lugar aqui que tá mostrando o olho. Vamos ver aqui.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I cannot enter. I must talk to
pessoal.
that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Encontre moradores de Wish. Encontre Richard Nish. Encontre Clayton. Vamos procurar então aqui esses outros. Aqui acho que a gente vai ter que dar uma vasculhada, né?
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Tônico de Sininho. Tônico com a lista de ingredientes são pode ser reciclado.
The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long as you have the money.
Good evening, my dear.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Peguei esse daqui, vai no... Oxi.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Miss Swanborough.
Good evening, my dear colleague.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
its effectiveness has been proven by... many. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial. The Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose. Goodbye for now. Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
Salve, Caio. Firmeza, mano. Seja bem-vindo aí no canal, cara. Tamo junto. E aí, curte o Vampyr? Já jogou?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Então, esse mês ele tá de graça, né? Para assinantes da Plus. Mano, é um jogão, cara. Falar pra você, mano. Tô curtindo muito, cara. Eu joguei ele uma época atrás no PC, mas aí eu não consegui salvar. Agora eu tô tentando salvar ele. Já que eu baixei de graça, né, mano? Tem que salvar. Se puder dar uma força aí, deixa aquele like pra fortalecer o canal, mano. Se não for inscrito, ative sua inscrição aí. Vai ser de grande ajuda, irmão. Estamos batendo a meta aí de 1K. Logo, logo aí já tô com 1000 inscritos. Então vai ser muito importante.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
Então, mano, esse jogo, Caio, é o seguinte, ele é um jogo de ação e suspense com um pouquinho de terror. O cenário dele lembra bastante Bloodborne, ele lembra muito o cenário Bloodborne, mas a dificuldade dele eu tô jogando no normal, então ainda não senti algo difícil, entendeu? Um jogo muito difícil ele não é, ele não se compara a jogos estilo Dark, né, estilo Souls, porém se eu colocar aumentar a dificuldade, provavelmente ele vai ficar mais interessante. Só que eu deixo normal porque, mano, vai ficar melhor pra fazer live e tal.
Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
Mas é um jogo legal, mano. Assim, pelo menos a gameplay do jogo, você enfrentar inimigo, eu tô gostando muito, tá ligado? Esse que é um dos principais pontos fortes nesse jogo, é a jogabilidade, né? Você utilizar as armas, habilidades para poder passar, né? Progredir no game. Aí tem essa pegada RPG, né, mano? Que é de conversa e tal. Que enche um pouquinho de saco. Eu não sou muito fã, tá ligado? Mas para um jogo desse naipe aqui é interessante.
The walls of your home will not protect you.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able.
Valeu, Caio. Vai com Deus, mano. Forte abraço pra você, meu querido. Tamo junto. Sempre eu tô postando vídeos novos, vídeos de jogos grátis eu posto no canal, né? Tipo, atualização, informação de games, tudo eu sempre tô postando. Não só jogo, né? Eu também posto notícia. Então, você vai gostar do canal, cara. Eu acredito que você vai curtir. Tamo junto, cara. Forte abraço.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth? I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nithercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Encontre a caixa de correio e a carta. Encontre os moradores de Whitechapel. Vamos ver aqui. Tem mais outras paradas para fazer? Virar pra cá agora. Tem alguma coisa pra cá? Por aqui, mano. Saber onde é.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Very well. Goodbye then.
Buquê de flores, um pequeno buquê com um vale médico para uma consulta grátis. Escondido nas flores. Tem que ter algum lugar pra passar aqui, velho. Provavelmente deve estar próximo. Dei a volta e nada. Vamos ver aqui se eu consigo achar um lugar pra entrar. Nossa, mano. Esse cara é muito forte, velho. Nossa, esse cara é muito forte, mano. Morri muito rápido. Você foi derrotado. A morte não é mal. O verdadeiro castigo seria nunca sentir o doce beijo dela. Bom, eu não sei se eu vou perder algum progresso com isso. Se eu vou voltar a alguma parte distante do mapa. Mas vamos ver, né? Ah, eu tô no mesmo lugar, ainda bem. Tem que ser algum lugar por aqui, não é possível, mano. Encontre a caixa de correio e a carta. Provavelmente deve ser aqui, mas aonde?
Hello again, miss. Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well. Goodbye, then. It's locked. This man stunned me with his crucifix. This is not good news.
Nossa, nível 16, mano, cara. Por isso que eu morri rapidinho.
I cannot enter.
Carta de Darius.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Agora tem que achar o jeito pra poder ir nesse lugar aqui. Deixa eu ver se dá pra dar uma volta nessa parte aqui. Deu pra dar a volta, acho que é aqui agora o caminho, galera. bastão do Negan. Esse bastão aqui, é só no coco. Bom, acho que tô luteando bastante coisa. Só que eu percebi que moeda vem pouco, mano. Moeda não vem muito. Parte da igreja aqui também. É, tem que seguir aqui agora, tá pertinho, provavelmente. Bom, deu pra abrir aqui. Mas deixa eu ver aqui se tem mais alguma coisa. Se tiver alguma coisa aqui, ó. Achei parafuso e garrafa de álcool. Agora vamos ver se tem. O que que tem pra lá, né? Desconhecido. Será que esse é o Richard? Vamos ver. Encontre Richard. Acho que é ele.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
É o Richard, já achei, tá vendo? Sua vida em Londres. O que está fazendo aqui
May
agora?
I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Não tem medo da epidemia?
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
Deveria evitar exposição.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
O que acha da situação de Londres?
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet, nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you, for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But, will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Did you know the Mute Florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious Camellia.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Encontre uma forma de entrar na casa de Dark. Deixa eu ver. Aqui. Encontre uma forma de entrar na casa de Darius. Petrescu. Vamos ver então.
city can breathe its own beauty and grace. Whitechapel is not just disease, desertion, and despair. Silent flower of Whitechapel, an angel made flesh, I tell you.
Hello again, miss. Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well. Goodbye, then. It's locked.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can. I can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot enter. This is despicable. Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see, Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Baixa mais aí, gente.
It's locked. What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Raz Van Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, Doctor. None at all.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor.
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor. We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could? Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No.
There was something more vile in these reactions, something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
Your heart might be in the right place, but you can't carry on with this blackmail. For God's sake, Dorothy, it's extortion. It's a serious crime.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why Lady Ashbury? Why her, of all people?
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't have refused your friend's care at Pembroke.
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end justifies the means. Is that your defense?
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Nurse Crane, there is no question that the work you've done here is extraordinary, but this dispensary is incapable of coping with the outbreak. It's only a question of days before the situation at hand will overwhelm us. I cannot allow it. It's my duty to put an end to this immediately.
I did what was right.
Então, tem
For
coisa
in the
que
end,
evita falar, né?
I saved lives and you took them. But we had so much in common, Doctor. Don't you see that?
Troféu conquistado em entrevista com o Vampiro. Informe Lady. Vamos ter que informar lá no hospital. Não tem viagem rápida, né? Fast food. Vamos dar uma olhada, ver o que tem mais aqui.
It's locked, all right. I cannot enter.
in! Oh, Christ! That's gonna hurt!
Swanborough cordial can be the answer to all your problems, as long as you have the money.
Não! Nossa, mano, que burro, velho. Voltei de novo. Caracas, mano, que merda. Ai, que saco. O jogo já demora pra caramba. Eu vacilo de entrar na porta, a mesma porta de novo, mano. Vai demorar mais uma vez que eu vou ter que voltar. Essa arma não dá pra melhorar. Ah, dá sim. Aumentei pro nível 2 aqui, mano. Essa arma também dá pra aumentar, hein? Deixa eu deitar aqui pra melhorar as habilidades agora. Vou melhorar bastante coisa agora, hein? Aqui é 1000, mano. Eu gostei. Os menores aqui. Só 500. Beleza. Nível 2. eu melhorar a vida, né, mano? A vida é importante. Deixa eu melhorar a vida aqui. Aumenta sua vida, aumente seu vigor. Aumentar o vigor também. Mordida. Regeneração. Deixa eu ver a mordida também. Melhorar. Ficar fortão, né, mano? Senão não vira. Outras aqui. Mano, esse daqui eu vou pouco usar a arma, mano. A arma eu não vou querer ficar usando, tá ligado? Eu não vou melhorar esse daqui, não. Deixa eu ver esses outros aqui. Esse daqui também é bastante coisa, né, mano? É 1000, velho. Do abismo aqui. Peguei esse daqui. Tô indeciso, qual que eu pego agora? aqui, vai, mano. Beleza. Agora sim tô ficando forte, não deu nem pro cheiro aqui.
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so to...
Kill him, boy!
Tensão total, hein? Cadê o outro? Tem mais um? Mais? Cara chato, velho. Caramba. Depois que eu aumentei a habilidade, fiquei bem mais forte. Vamos voltar de novo pro hospital. Provavelmente a gente já vai finalizar esse capítulo.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reed. I like a man who speaks his mind.
You killed him. He trusted you. And you killed him.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
No need to apologize, my lady. I know exactly what you endure.
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway,
I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
The case is closed, permanently. You will not be bothered anymore by the woman.
And who was this woman?
If you must know, she worked under my employ as Nurse Crane. But I'll wager that's not what will be written on her gravestone.
You killed her? Is that what you consider discretion and diplomacy, Dr. Reed?
I did what I thought was best, and acted accordingly.
You will learn that trust is a rare and precious commodity in the Immortals' world, my young doctor. And your actions have not induced me to offer you my support.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
Excuse my forwardness, but... are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake.
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London Vampire Society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
And no one suspected you of the murders?
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Very well. But I believe there is more to this than you are saying.
A lady has to have some secrets.
And who bestowed upon you this eternal youth?
My maker. He left this isle a long time ago.
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scowl.
William Bishop wasn't the vampire that created me then?
No, Jonathan. Whatever their strength and demeanor, scowls are the progeny of careless vampires. It cannot be the other way round.
What type of vampire is a Scowl?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, and I've never seen it like this.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad?
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society, and like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
A vampire? Is that what I am? What we are?
Such a crude word. Defined by penny dreadfuls and drunken hacks. No. You are now an Ekon, and that you shall remain.
Are you an Ekon too?
Yes, I am. We are the closest thing to what man refers to as vampires. Forget what you think you know about us.
So we are Econs. How can I identify us amongst other vampires?
How? Forget it. All Econ are vampires. But all vampires are not Econ. We are but a branch of the immortal tree.
I bid you farewell. For now, my lady.
I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Yes, Jonathan?
May I ask you some questions?
Please do. I have promised to answer you.
Se puder, eu quero mais tá, amor?
I bid you farewell. For
Se
now.
puder.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Skulls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
Pessoal, capítulo 3, histórico familiar, causa e efeitos, né? Vamos iniciar a próxima live em breve. Muito obrigado a todos que assistiram, deixaram o like, ativaram a sua inscrição. Muito obrigado aí quem acompanhou a live um pouco comigo, que foi o André, certo? E o Mano Caio também. O André é lá de Portugal. Um salve aí pra você, André. E um salve pro Caio. Muito obrigado a todos também que vieram, só olharam. Tamo junto. Até a próxima, galera. Valeu!